the most complete guide to stimulating the clitoral area. If you or your partner has a clitoris, you should learn more about this nerve-packed body part. The clitoris, also known as the pleasure nub, can give vulva owners a lot of pleasure. Even though the clitoris is less of an abnormal part of the body than you may have been led to believe by the media, learning a few touch techniques can help. So, we talked to experts and looked through research to make a guide for clitoral stimulation. Find out how to touch your clit or that of a partner in a way that's satisfying. Plus, learn the truth about the anatomy of the clitoral area. Spoiler alert, it's not just a tiny hotspot. The first thing to do, what does it mean? The clit is a nerve-filled part of the body that can cause many orgasms. The clitoris has more nerve endings per inch 2 than any other part of the body, says Caitlin V. Neal, a sexologist for Royal, a company that makes products for sexual hygiene and body care. She says that the clitoris doesn't do anything else for the body than give pleasure. But that doesn't mean it's not a big building. Neal says, when we think about how important pleasure is to the reproduction of our species, the clitoris seems pretty important. More and more, modern science shows how important pleasure is to having children. Just where is the clit? Good question. The most common answer to this question is that the clit is the P-shaped structure at the end of the two labia. And even though that is part of the clitoris, it is just the outside part. The clitoris is made up of both external and internal parts. The glands of the clit are on the outside of the body. They are usually covered by a cool hood that keeps them from getting too stimulated, says Sarah Desack, the owner of Early to Bed in Chicago, which sells pleasure products all over the world. But the clitoris has a whole hidden structure inside the body. She says that it has legs, called crura, and bulbs that wrap around the vagina. When sexually aroused, the erectile tissue in the legs and bulbs gets bigger. The shape is often called a wishbone, says Desack. Some of the wishbones are visible on the outside of the body, but most of it is hidden inside. Some experts say that the clit looks like an upside-down flower with large petals that extend into the body, which is the vaginal canal. The catch, a small penis. It's true that the penis and clits are both made of the same kind of tissue. But it's not true that a clit is just a penis the size of a pearl. In this way, you don't want to only touch the parts of the clit you can see, the way you might touch a penis. Instead, if you or your partner with a vulva agrees, you should try to get the clit going with internal play. Recap, Clitoral Anatomy 101. Getting to know your clitoris inside and out is kind of like putting together a unique outfit. Each part of the body is different, as is the makeup below. They all have the same parts, though. Glans clitoris. This is the outside bump that most people picture when they think of the clitoris. Even though it's the size of a pea, it has thousands of nerve endings. The clavicle hood. We all like a good hoodie, and so does the clitoris. The clitoral hood is made up of the labia minora. When you're aroused, the hood pulls back just a bit, revealing your glans. Body with a head. The body of the clitoris is inside. It is connected to the glans and is held up by a ligament from the pubic bone. Corpora cavernosa. The clitoral body is made up of two sacs called corpora cavernosa, which stand up when a person is aroused. We matched crura. The clitoral body splits into two parts that are called appendages. These legs go across the urethra and the vaginal canal. When you're turned on, blood fills them up, making them bigger. Vestibular bulbs. With the urethra and vaginal canal at the heart's cleavage, the vestibular bulbs look like an upside-down heart. The bulbs go through and behind the labia, around the vaginal canal, and toward the anus. They also get bigger when you sweat a lot. Are the G-spot and the clitoris the same thing? People often say that the G-spot is a nerve-rich erogenous zone along the front wall of the vaginal canal, about 2 to 3 inches deep. Well, some research shows that the G-spot is not a separate thing from the clit. Instead, it is where the clit's bulbs form the heart shape that wraps around the canal. In other words, the G-spot is an area of the clit that can be stimulated from the inside. Vaginal penetration can feel great because it gives you both sensations inside the vaginal walls and pressure on the inside of the clitoris, says Desac. Penetrating and clitoral stimulation from the outside can make some people have very intense orgasms. How to get the clitoris to work. 1. Remind yourself that masturbating is a perfectly healthy thing to do. If you want to learn how to please your clit the best, read this guide. Take a deep breath before you read on. Many people were taught that masturbation is dirty, dangerous, or something that should never be talked about. So, let's say it again, masturbation is normal and healthy. You won't lose sight. You won't get addicted. You won't mess yourself up by playing with a partner. Also, it's not cheating on a partner. Self-pleasure can also help get rid of the shame that makes it hard to be confident with yourself, with a partner, or in a relationship. Diana Sadat, a sex therapist and clinical counselor in Vancouver, British Columbia, says, "It's hard to know what to ask for from your partner if you don't know what you like." She says that masturbation lets you find out what feels good. You might find that stimulating in a round pattern feels better than up and down, or that using your inner labia to stimulate your clitoris instead of your clitoris directly feels better to you, Sadat says. In other words, if you touch yourself, it makes it easier for someone else to touch you. 2. Begin slowly and gently. Sadat has one universal tip for stimulating the clitoral area: let your body warm up first. It takes a while for your clitoris to get going and for blood to start flowing, she says. So start stroking around your clitoris and touching your labia without going straight for the clit for a while, until you feel ready for that kind of stimulation. When you do start to touch your clit, do so with light strokes at first. Then, put more pressure on or move faster as your body tells you to. 3. Try out different methods. Different ways of stimulating yourself can give you different kinds of pleasure, and it's up to you how you do it. Here are a few different ways you can stimulate your clitoral area. Yes, that's the catch. Slide your hand, fingers, or a sex toy up and down or back and forth across your clitoris and clitoral hood. Tap dance. You can slowly build up to orgasm by tapping your clit and hood in a soft way. You can choose how fast it goes. Get down to work. You don't need to use your hands or take off your clothes. It might be better if you don't take off those jeans. Grind your pelvis while sitting on a pillow to get there. Pinch peace. Use your first 2 fingers to make the peace sign and gently pinch and pull up and down on your clitoral hood, or slide your fingers back and forth. Go around the world. Make slow circles with your finger around your clit and hood, touching your labia as you go. Fun zones. Because of the way the clitoris is shaped, you can get aroused and even have an orgasm by massaging other erogenous zones alone or with the clitoris. You could touch your labia, the opening of your vagina, your inner thigh, your perineum, or your anus. If you lie on your stomach and reach backward, everything, including the clit, will be easier to get to. You can also grind in this position while touching the rest of your body. Station of penetration. The structures inside the clitoris wrap around the vaginal canal, so putting your fingers or a sex toy in your vagina can make you feel good. Combine with any of the above ways to stimulate the body from the outside for double the pleasure. Good vibes. You can use a vibrating sex toy to improve or get better at any of the above methods. Vibrators can be helpful for people who need to move their hands or wrists as little as possible. Start with the lowest setting and change it as needed. 4. Try to get the clit going by stimulating it from the inside. If you like getting stimulated from the inside, why not try getting stimulated from the inside? Try reaching about 1/3 of the way from the opening and playing with pressure and stimulation on the front, or upper, wall to see what feels good. It may take some practice and experimenting to find, but if you find that extra sensitive internal trigger spot, it can be well worth it. How to get your partner's clitoris going. 1. Ask for guidance. If the person you're dating has a clitoris, don't be afraid to ask what they want. Frame the question in terms of how committed you are to find out what makes them happy and taking the time to do so without putting pressure on them to do well. You could say, "I'd love to see you touch your clit so I can find out how you like to be touched there. Do you like the way I'm putting pressure on you right now? Or would you like it to be harder or softer? Which feeling do you like the most? This, show. This demo, or this?" 2. Get handsy. Many piercing positions give you room to stimulate the clit while having sex with a partner. This is best done in the missionary, Amazon, and spooning sex positions. So, you could play by reaching between your partner's legs. You could also ask them to do the same. 3. Put pillow supports back in. For clit owners who like pressure, grinding against something can be a lot of fun. If your partner likes pressure, you could put a pillow or a bunch of blankets under their pubic bone in a creative way. Then, let them hump and pump the prop while you penetrate them from behind, or lick them. 4. Do something weird with the furniture. Use what's around you to put yourself in the best position. Headboards, sofa backs, and countertops are your best friends when it comes to clitoral stimulation. You could lean your back against the headboard or couch, for example. Then, have your partner sit on your hips while holding your back. Their clit is now right in front of you, so you can use the tips above. 5. Ride and glide. Your pubic mound and thighs are great places to stimulate clitoral activity. Sit down or lean back a little and tell your partner to slide up and down your thigh, belly, or pubic bone. You or your partner could use lube to spice things up. When you add slippery things, the friction will be less and the glide will feel better. 6. Turn the ride around. In the reverse rider position, your partner sits on your back, but you turn away from them. You can use this position to vaginally or orally penetrate your partner if you have a penis or strap-on. As you thrust, your partner can rub their nub by reaching their hand between their legs. If both you and your partner have a clitoris, put a few pillows under the pelvis of the person on the bottom. This will change the angle of your hips just enough so that you can touch your crotch to the crotch of the person next to you. Hot? 7. Upper thigh. This is a different way to ride in the reverse rider position. Instead of having your partner straddle both of your legs, have them straddle just one. So, they can slide up and down your thigh. Here, a penis, hand, or toy can be used to get inside the woman's body. 8. Word puzzle. Does your partner enjoy oral? Use your tongue to lightly circle your partner's clitoris and hood with a mix of pressure. You could also use an oral sex stimulation or air suction toy, which, when used with lube, gives you a feeling similar to oral sex. 9. Include a sexual toy. DSAC says, for some people, no matter how hard they press with their hands, it's just not enough to make them orgasm. For these people, sex toys, especially vibrators, can help them get an orgasm. Placed right next to or on top of the clitoris, vibrators can give a feeling that the body can't, and this makes orgasms happen faster and often stronger for many people, she says. 10. Keep it varied. Don't be afraid to switch things up until you find the right position, pressure, and rhythm for your partner. Playtime possibilities. Change the way your rub is going. You can add or remove the pressure. Alter or mix techniques. You can make the beat go faster or slower. Change how many fingers are used. Change or add toys. Switch between stimulating your partner from the outside and penetrating her. What if you can't find a method that makes you feel good? Don't worry too much. Whether you're playing alone or with a partner, it's fine if a certain technique doesn't make you feel like you're on cloud 9. Remember that clitoral stimulation is not the same for everyone. And we still don't know a lot about it. In 2008, researchers made the first 3D image of the whole clitoral structure. Before that, not much was known about the cool parts inside the clit or how they work with the rest of the genital area. So, Even though scientists aren't studying the clit as much as they should, that's all the more reason for you to do your own, or a joint, study of what gets you off.